I'm your host, Davida Shensky, and you're listening to Live Without Limits Dreams Come True with the Right Mindset, where we talk about personal development. And today we're talking about 5 ways to effectively keep promises that you make to yourself. As I was getting ready this morning, I was listening to a podcast that got me thinking about the promises that we make. When we make promises to others, we go about above and beyond to make sure that we keep that promise. But it be it with families, friends, or colleagues, we want to always keep our word. We have the in, inherent desire to be viewed as reliable. Sadly, when we make promises to ourselves, we aren't half as enthusiastic and driven to keep them. We are laid back and it will fail to keep that promise. We just brush it off like it's nothing. The time frames that we set for ourselves are not as firm as the ones that we set for others. We set extremely comfortable with moving our things around and pushing them to a later date. Well, why is that? Reasons why we don't keep the promises that we make to ourselves. This is because when we fail to keep the promises we make to others, there is a certain level of judgment that we don't want. However, when it's the promises that we make to ourselves, there really is no one to judge us, so we tend to be mellow with ourselves. Moreover, there is no one to hold us accountable, and we can do what we want, and no one will come and follow up to understand why we didn't do what we said we would do. To add to that, usually there aren't any immediate consequences, that we tend to be blinded from seeing the future. And we convince ourselves that there is plenty of time. If we fail to start today, we can always start next week. Some of the promises that we make to ourselves might look like this. Start going to the gym consistently. Start intermittent fasting. Eat healthy. Meditate every day. Read 2 books every month. Start the day with daily affirmations. Spend more time volunteering. 5 ways to effectively keep the promises that you make to yourselves. Write them down. If you tell yourself that you will do something and don't write it down, you can't easily forget about it and ignore it. When written down, you visualize what you said you will do, and you will more likely to get it done. Break it down. Sometimes you are overwhelmed by the promises that you make because they seem too big. Rather than promising yourself to finish writing the whole chapter by the end of the week, break it down. Promise yourself to finish a section of the chapter each day. This way, you have smaller tasks that are less intimidating but contribute towards your desired end goal. Be consistent. Some goals can be achieved in one shot, but others take time. Long term goals, like achieving a certain level of fitness, or in my case, finishing up a thesis, require consistently, even on days where you feel like you aren't in the mood. Just do something towards that goal. to find that I feel like I am not in the mood before I start. But once I do, I find myself doing more than I thought I would do. Ease yourself into it. Sometimes you have to talk small, gradual steps toward what you want to be. If your goal is to run 5 kilometers a day, running the whole 5 kilometers on the first day might not be a good idea. Consider starting off with 1 kilometer. Once you are comfortable, you will increase until you reach that goal. This way, you are trying to be more motivated to get to where you want to be. Trying to get everything done in one goal might overwhelm you and make you think that your goal is unrealistic and unachievable. Get an accountability partner. If you are like me and you find it difficult to hold yourself accountable when it comes to keeping promises you make to yourself, consider getting an accountability partner. This has to be someone you trust. You would let them know all the promises that you have made, and they will be there to question you and hold you accountable, just like someone else would do had you made promises to someone else in some cases. Both of you can be each other's accountability partner. Promises to yourself are as important as promises to others. If you and your friend agree that every Tuesday you will meet at 9 a.m. for coffee and your friend doesn't show up twice in a row, you will most likely lose your marbles and have a firm chat with them. This is because you have evidence that your friend does not respect you or your time. If you won't let anyone not keep their word, why would you allow yourself to do that? Hold yourself accountable just as you would do to another person. The hurt and frustration that you feel when someone does not keep their promise should be the same when you don't keep promises to yourself. Develop a healthy mindset and remember the promises that you make to yourself are as important as those that you make to others. And some of the things that I want to say on this, like yesterday, I go to the gym 3 times a week. And generally, because I don't have my own transportation, I depend on public transportation. And because I have a disability and low income, I'm able to use the paratransit system and I pay virtually nothing other than what I have to get where I need to go. And generally, they're fairly good about it, but there are times when they are not. And yesterday, what happened was I ended up waiting an extra hour and a half and then missed it because I kept following up with the dispatcher on the time and was told that I still had another 20 minutes and had to go to the restroom. And in the meantime, got a call that they were outside that I missed. And then I had to almost wait another hour before they were going to able to get someone there to actually pick me up. So think about it. That was what that did was that wasted my time and the time that I could put in to working at the same time.